Something I've been thinking a lot about recently is just how often people are kind of trying to take shortcuts in our society. Now, this may work with short-term goals like losing a couple pounds, taking some GLP-1 drug, or changing their diet up a little bit to lose a couple pounds or feel a little bit better in their day-to-day life. Now, I've been thinking about this a little bit more kind of in terms of what you put in is what you get in return. And this goes with your mind and your body as well. And I think people don't really realize both of those things are very prevalent here. So I think people kind of think about a diet as putting good food in your body creates good outcomes in the future. And this is probably pretty self-explanatory, and pretty much every diet boils down to eat less than your maintenance or however many calories you're burning in a day. That's how you're gonna lose weight. It doesn't matter what you're eating. Obviously, as long as you're getting the right nutrients and stuff to stay alive, that's what matters. And if you're eating cleaner, you're gonna have better outcomes than those people who are just eating junk food, but having less calories than their daily requirement or their daily calorie burn. Now, people don't realize that the same thing goes with your mind as well. If you wanna change kind of your state of mind, you need to consume different material. If you're just scrolling TikTok or YouTube all day long and just taking in this content that kind of just numbs you, it's not gonna do you any favors over the long term. What you need to do is really just sit down and be with yourself a little bit more and go back to those older school ways of being. You need to pick up a book, be a little bit more monotone in your learning. You don't need to have this super dynamic infrastructure that helps you learn a little bit faster than it would if you were to pick up and read a book over the course of a week. I think there's something our society has been losing a little bit in terms of not reading as much as we used to. I think ignoring these kind of slower paced ways of life have deteriorated our society a little bit too much. I think it's become a little bit too easy to get a quick hit of dopamine, and that's not good for our society. I think it makes people a little bit more lazy, and it gets rid of our work ethic and our drive. All of this boils down to kind of looking at what you're consuming, whether that be consuming YouTube or consuming junk food that's in the pantry. I think we need to look at this in both aspects of our life. And this is something I've really been thinking about the last few weeks as well. I've been really trying to cut back on all the junk food in my life because that's an area that I've really struggled with in the past. I've also been trying to do this a little bit more with social media as well. I've limited my phone use to less than 3 hours a day for the past 3 to 4 months. And over the past week, I just got a notification that my average screen use was about 2 hours and 5 minutes. Now, for many of you, that might not sound impressive, but for me, someone who struggled with screen use over the course of their lifetime, that has been a big deal. And that's a big accomplishment for me. This is something I've been trying to be a little bit more meaningful with in my life, trying to put down those electronics and go for a walk and just think a little bit more, or listen to a podcast and hear people talk about situations and learn new things that I wouldn't otherwise have. I think it's really important to developing kind of your sense of identity as well as more knowledge, just to take in these different aspects, sort of to take in these different topics and learn more about different things that you wouldn't normally have. This kind of deepens your experience as a human, I believe, and it allows you to connect with more people than you wouldn't otherwise have been able to connect with. And I believe that kind of limiting your high dopamine kind of sources of entertainment are very crucial into becoming the person that you want to be. It allows you to really think about who you are and what you want to do and where you want to go and what your goals and ambitions are for your life. And for me especially, this has really opened my eyes in the last few days and few weeks that I've really been able to think about this. It's made me realize that, I haven't really thought about it too much. Just because I've been picking up my phone and getting quick hits of dopamine, I haven't really thought about sitting down and having a long-term plan for myself, aside from a few times a year when I'll sit down and do a little journal on it. But this is something that we all need to normalize a little bit more and do more frequently. I think that it's really beneficial for us, and if we just take the time to sit down, to read a little bit more, to reflect on what's been going on in our lives and where we want to go and what our new goals are and what goals we achieved over the last year, and all these little things that truly do matter for us in the long term. I think if we do that a little bit more, our society will get better as a whole. People will be able to connect with each other more. People will be able to have true, meaningful relationships with each other instead of just these fake relationships based on what their social identity is to people online. And I believe this is something that we've been struggling a lot with recently, especially with the rise in social media over the years. People have been connecting with each other based on these almost fake profiles that they've curated for themselves and are kind of role-playing as. Whereas I know for myself, those pictures that I posted on Instagram 7 to 10 years ago are not the person that I was 7 to 10 years ago. I haven't used Instagram in a long time, and I think it's been really beneficial for me. I haven't had to put up a front for anybody in my life. I haven't had to pretend that I'm somebody I'm not. I've been able to genuinely pursue things that I'm interested in without having to put up a fake front of who I am. And that's been really fulfilling for me. It's been really healing for me, and just to be able to be truly myself has been such a blessing over the past few years. I've been able to learn so much about myself, what I want to do, what I don't want to do, and even I'm still learning stuff to this day. Like yesterday, I had a really hard time, and I just took a walk and just decided kind of to sit and think, take my AirPods out, just sit and think for a few minutes, and it really helped me kind of calm myself down and think about what I wanted to do. Think about the things that truly mattered to me at that moment, and that really helped me kind of change my mindset and fix the behavior and the mood that I was in. And I think if we just reach for that phone, reach for that quick hit of dopamine, that's not gonna help us at all. What we need to do is just put that phone down, set the phone in another room, really just sit with ourselves and think about what it is that truly matters to us. I think none of us are having deep enough conversations or deep enough kind of conversations with ourselves even. I know for me, I'm starting to have those deeper conversations with myself, and I'm just now starting, after a few months, to have those conversations with people around me. This is something that will build over time, and I think that as we begin practicing it more and more, it'll become more natural in our society. And I think that we can all truly benefit more from that. Then we'll be able to truly lift people up and build up beautiful relationships with people that we truly care about. And nothing will be fake anymore, putting on a front for people that we don't care about, trying to impress people we don't care about. So I think what we really need to do is just kind of realize all of that content that we're putting into our head and everything kind of that we're consuming. We need to have a really fine filter that we consume through. Whether that be our food, we need to make sure that we're getting the purest ingredients, the whole single ingredient foods to keep us nourished and to make us feel great every day. We also need to make sure that we're not consuming any of that quick dopamine hit content that leads us awry and can deteriorate our relationships, not only with ourselves, but the people around us. And I believe that these two things are kind of the pillars that our relationships with ourselves and people around us are built on. So if I had one kind of piece of advice or takeaway for you today, it would be to really think about those two pillars of your life and think about that filter that you consume your content or kind of consume anything for that matter through.